Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody from all around the world, hello and welcome to another episode of the Welch Report with me, your host, Jean-Luc Welch. Make some noise, clap it up. Get excited wherever you are. We're back with another action-packed week of fun, fire, and energy all on this Tuesday afternoon. We appreciate you getting excited. Make some noise, clap it up wherever you are. We are here live for another action-packed show. We got a lot to discuss as we get drawing nigh to the world of TEO female lovers versus SHAKURS Stevenson. We're going to talk about a little bit of Raymond Murtala as well versus Andy Cruz, as that fight is this weekend on this Saturday, I believe, as well as some stuff with SHAKURS specifically in TEO on the potential big-time not even undisclosed, not as much talked about weakness that we could see the likes of SHAKURS have going into this fight with Teofimo Lopez in a very exciting matchup between two of some of the best pound fighters in the world today. Oh, all that and so much more is going to be on this show. We can talk about a little bit of college football. If you watched the World of National Championship yesterday with Indiana beating Miami to become the college football champions of 2026. Congratulations to them, and so much more will be on the docket for today's show. But hey, if you haven't tuned in and it's your first time showing up, hey, this is the Welch Report. I'm your Jean-Luc Welch. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Come on, be a part of this empire. Go on and subscribe to this channel. Be sure to share the show with everybody that you know so we can keep on building up this empire together. Absolutely all with you and your support. We can make this thing possible to go and spread throughout all far and wide of the airways of the sports world. Also, be sure to leave your comments down below in the comments section and keep on liking the stream. Help push this show out to the algorithm for everybody to see exactly what we got going on. As well as if you like to support the channel, hey, we got Cash App, we got PayPal, we got links down below in the description, as well as we have super chats, super gifts, and stickers and all that stuff for per YouTube themselves. If you like to give and support the channel through any way possible, just click the dollar bill thing at the bottom of the chat thing. If you want to send a chat with some money attached, if you so choose, we ain't gonna beg, we ain't gonna plead, we're gonna earn our keep and make it worth your while. Absolutely. But it helps us to invest back into the show, helps us to make it so that we can give to the show even more production quality and more fun and fervor, all for your viewing and listening pleasure. But hey, we got a bunch of stuff to talk about. We got sports to delve into, we got boxing to cover, and so with all that being said, it is time to step into the ring. Yes, sir. Ring the bell. Let's get it started, shall we? Round one of this show going underway. As real quick, let me go through and recenter this camera just a tad. You know, we want to make sure that we can be seen as best qualitatively as possible. There we go. I think that's where we need to be. If it ain't, well, we're going to be sticking with them. Either way, let's jump into the show, shall we? Let's jump into the action. Let's jump into the world of boxing. And with the first topic of the day, we can go either or. We do want to talk about the Charles, we're talking about Murtala, and we're talking about SHAKURS, but I think we're going to talk about SHAKURS first and foremost. As again, it's the present topic, it's the biggest thing in the thumbnail, as well as it is a very interesting thing to discuss. So that's going to be where we go first on this show. Yes, indeed. Get your popcorn ready, get your opinions, and get your thoughts out. I want to see what you all have got to say. Ooh, that's some good tea. Ooh, that's some good tea. I'm sorry, I've become a bit of a tea connoisseur over this first month in 2026, and it's pretty good. I need to get some lemon tea, ginger tea. There's another tea. It's not black tea. I can't stand black tea. That's too strong for my taste. But I sweeten up a little bit of strawberries, put hints of other flavors you can kind of dip in there. It's pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. But even still, I digress from here. Let me see what you all gotta say in the chat before we even get going. Hey, Vámonos Cabrones, yes indeed, we are going through and going forth strongly onto this show. Thank you, Al Booker, for tuning in onto our show. Again, I'm a consistent viewer of the show. We appreciate you all so much. Also, Burr, what's going on, Burr? How you doing as well? Thank you for tuning into the show with us all today. What's up with you? Hopefully you're having a phenomenal Tuesday afternoon, and let's see what else you all have to see. I've been waiting for this fight since last month. Murtala versus Andy Cruz is going to be a good chess match. Both orthodox, both skills, both match skills It's one of those fights you can't sleep on 50-50. Oh, yes, no, trust me. Hey, look, after this Shakur talk, we're going to talk about Murtala and Andy Cruz, and then jump into Charlo, and after that championship rounds, everybody can see whatever they want to see, and everybody can talk about whatever they want to talk about. Just give it 15 to 30 minutes, and then we're going to discuss the world of Andy Cruz versus Murtala, because I got some thoughts on what I think is going to happen with who I think not just going to win, but how it's going to play out as we get closer and closer to this weekend. Absolutely. But all that being said, let's just make sure we keep we just keep a little bit with the docket of the show. Shakur's big weakness for this fight. It's the biggest thing that got everybody talking, biggest thing that got everybody walking. And again, it hasn't been talked about as much or discussed, but it is something that needs to be said as we're going into the most dangerous fight in Shakur's career, going up against a multi-time champion and one of the best and most honestly unique fighters in the world in Teofimo Lopez. And what is that weakness exactly? Is a question that you all may be asking. Hey, would you think that it's the hands? And we talk about the hands all the time with the fact he's had brittle stuff, he's had surgery, similar to the likes of Floyd Mayweather. Oftentimes the ability to punch hasn't been up to par because boom. But even though, again, the last fight where Zepeda answered a lot of questions, but still is a concern that can come about with his hands hold up in the fight, especially if we see Teofimo Lopez start to amp up the pressure earlier on and forced to try to get you into a situation where we're going to put those hands to the test yet again and see what you can do going up against an even more rock-hard type of body in the sense of Teofimo Lopez and that physical specimen of a physique. But that's not what I'm discussing when it comes to the weakness. One of the weaknesses that we talk about with Shakur Stevenson is not necessarily whether or not he can hold up with the punch output. It's the fact of what he can take. What can he withstand as a fighter who doesn't get caught all that much? People keep bringing up all the times he got caught by William Zepeda with the right straight that had him wobbling on the ropes. Though I genuinely think it was a shot that just caught him off balance. Many people say, wait a minute now, he's chinny. Oh, y'all see, he got tagged clean. Next thing you know, he's wobbling. He's in a little bit of trouble. For a man that doesn't get hit often, he might not be as much of a dominating chin as we may have thought for all the defensive praise that we give him. With him being one of the best defensive fighters in the world today, if not the best defensive fighter that we got in boxing right now. And so with that being the case, with the power TEO coming to play, with the power, if he gets caught, all of a sudden rip asunder everything that we see Shakur wanting to do from the standpoint of his ability to be a boxer, a legitimate boxer, a real swim and not get wet type of guy. And what many people may be thinking, he may just be looking to swim all throughout this entire night and not look to even attempt to go through and get wet in the first place. Oh yes, indeed, it's a very, very genuine concern for people. But even with that being said, we have to look at the grander picture of Shakur and the match that he's going up against. He's going up against somebody that got cracked. He's going up against somebody, hey, yeah, sure, if he catches you on the chin clean with solid punch, especially with you coming up from 135, yes, you could be in some serious danger. Not even could be, most likely you will be in some very serious danger. And as much as we can say that Shakur is revving up for this fight, he's very excited for this fight, he's driven, he's hungry, he's all this stuff, all that in a bag of chips, looking to really paint his mark and set his ground as this is my era, this is my time. It's not the chin that I'm worried about with Shakur Stevenson. It's not the hands that I'm worried about with Shakur Stevenson. What I'm worried about with Shakur Stevenson is something that if we go back and look at a fight that we had with Shakur Stevenson a couple of years ago, when he was at 130, or 130, 135, fighting against one Oscar Valdez. That was the body. Yeah, something that hasn't been discussed as much. Something that seems like not really a pressing matter. But it is something that draws some concern that we need to talk about with this fight. The body of Shakur Stevenson might be another potential weakness that we have when it comes to Shakur being able to go and fight against Teofimo Lopez. Why is that the case, even with the defensive acumen that we've seen Shakur have on multiple occasions? Well, it's due to the fact when you watch that fight with Williams, with not Williams Zepeda, with the likes of Shakur versus Oscar Valdez. Again, in that dominating performance by Shakur Stevenson, which again was incredible. It was phenomenal. Don't get it twisted. It was something that was great to behold. I am not talking against that at all. But what I am saying is that if you go back and watch or listen to Shakur's aftermath review of said fight, there was a point in time where Shakur got caught with a flush shot to the body, backing up, trying to jump out of the way of the shorter range of Oscar Valdez. And Oscar Valdez, instead of doing with his normal range of throwing hooks like we know him do, again, the warrior that he is, but still somewhat one-dimensional in a fighter. When we look at that fight, and he talked about it in review himself, he was saying that he got caught with a body shot backing up from Oscar Valdez that landed flush. Now, I mean flush right in the middle of his abdomen. And he went back to his corner and said, yo, I feel like I'm going to throw up. I'm not okay. I'm hurting. And that stayed for a good couple rounds. That body shot, one shot, not accumulation. Wasn't what Williams Zepeda was trying to do, which was just constantly throwing out a volley and eventually something's going to land. It was one clean flush shot that caught him, hurt him, and had him in a dangerous way, and he was able to hide it. He was able to quell it. But what he wasn't able to do was not feel it, and feel it in a way that, mind you, with him being talked about as a big kid, with him being talked about as a big fighter from Stanford Frank, he got shooken up. And if you don't believe me, hey, let me go and point you towards his own words to let you see what he had to say in regards to Shakur and his own feelings of what he felt on that fateful night, in which, again, was a dominant performance, but was indeed a dangerous situation nonetheless, as we transition over into the world of picture, where is that right here? There we go, yes indeed. Let me show you all what he had to say.
And like I'm in the ring,
right?
And I got hit with a body shot, boom, and the crowd go crazy. But they don't really know, like, he was just throwing a lot of punches, so they going crazy for him. But they don't know, and he don't know that I'm really hurt.
One of them hurt.
Yeah, it really hurt it bad. So I'm trying to play it off. I'm giving him the face, like I'm letting him know, like I'm still here.
Right.
But then the round ended, and I went back to the corner, and I sat down. I looked at my grandfather and said, "Yo, I feel like I gotta throw up."
So I'm telling you, one of the biggest weaknesses of this fight could not necessarily be the hands, could not necessarily be the chin. It could be the body of Teofimo Lopez. And we're dealing with somebody who is an even more accurate and diverse puncher in Teofimo Lopez. With that being the case, we're dealing with a more pinpoint precision level of power. We are somebody who can place his shots incredibly well, and who also is not scared to go downstairs, and with a longer reach, with a bigger range, not just of motion, but of ability. Both in what he can do to reach you, as well as what he can do to hurt you. We're dealing with somebody in Shakur Stevenson. Hey, there's a reason why I'm saying that if he tries to do what he did against Williams Zepeda, though, again, that was one of the best outings of his career. If he does fall into that pit, it could be, he could be in trouble going downstairs. There's a reason why the power of the likes of Dos Santos and not the power of Teofimo Lopez, which we can argue is on par, potentially above, going at from the standpoint of what we've seen from their track record as a whole and their careers, especially at the elevated weight division, is a danger, a big time danger, a very hefty danger. And if Shakur gets caught downstairs to the body, it's not just the fact that the wearing down the power, wearing down the movement as a game plan. Again, putting water in the basement, as we have heard multiple times from the likes of Teddy Atlas and others who are, again, big in time in the boxing game. It's not just that. It's the fact that legit, he can hurt him. And one thing that T was able to pick up on, even if you are able to hide it well, which Shakur has an incredible poker face, he can see the minuscule details in the body language of how you were going about in a fight. And trust me, I promise you, we get to a situation where we see Teofimo Lopez land something flush downstairs. It won't be that it will see Shakur be able to hide it as discreetly as he was able to in the Oscar Valdez fight, and as he's been able to do over the course of the last couple of years with him. And again, that poker face that he tries to bring to the table. If it's not his hands, he'll show you, I'm all right in every account. But if you get landed like that against TEO downstairs, you might be in for a pretty long time. And it doesn't help with the fact that, as you saw in the clip and the voiceover, what Shakur was saying about that fight with Oscar Valdez, with the way that TEO fights and with the way that Shakur defends, this is a consistent thing that I've been saying. It can be a potential opening for that type of devastating body attack to take hold yet again. It could. It can be a situation because he doesn't, again, it's not moving laterally, it's moving vertically. Keeping the distance of infinity within a 2-inch perspective. That's how Shakur loves to fight. He's right in front of you, but yet you can't touch him. He's so good at distance management. He's so good at understanding range and understanding where you can't hit him. He'll stand like a tree and slowly take half inches to inches back, or he'll jump back completely just out of range. But when he does that, oftentimes opens up that guard a little bit, leaping back before resetting back into, again, that Philly shell. Not saying it's all the time, but it's happened enough. And it happened enough in the Oscar Valdez fight that, hey, Oscar finally landed a shot that, hey, if he had been able to keep on landing, it could have been a bad night for Shakur because it hurt him. This is a legitimate watch point that we need to look for in this fight. That with Teofimo in that body attack, which is adamant, it can happen, will happen almost assuredly. We see TEO land flush downstairs with a hook, with an uppercut on the inside against Shakur Stevenson. Even with this bigger frame that Shakur is dealing with, it might be the most vulnerable place to hurt and put Shakur in a different mentality of thinking. Going back to what he used to say when he was fighting against Archer Mauritanian, where it was when he had put out the, and I quote, this was his statement: if somebody's in danger, they are the most dangerous to you. And if somebody's fresh, they're the most dangerous to you. So why risk anything? His words, not mine. I got the quote wrong, so it's more so a paraphrase. But his words, not mine. That was the sentiment. Going up against TEO, we get TEO to put that same identity. Hey, but this cat's fresh. He's catching me, and it's hurting. Don't risk anything. Because now I felt what you can deal with, and it's worse than what I got caught with Oscar Valdez when I was actually hurt. Now what you're going to do is worse than what I had coming at me when I was facing up against De Los Santos. And it's in a position where it's downstairs to the body where, hey, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. And I don't want to feel this a whole lot. It could lead to Shakur now going into the more uber defensive, conservative manner of boxing. And many people say they hate it. Many people say it was one of the worst performances like he had against De Los Santos. Arguably with the moniker, why he was called boring, why he was called unentertaining, all that stuff, it could bleed into it. Leading also into, with the change in mind frame of how we're seeing the boxing world deal with people that are uber conservative, not just letting the likes of Devin Haney and others go when it comes to clinching and holding as a great type of performance. We want you to actually show what you can do on a wide scale. Hey, judging may not favor that type of uber conservatism. Judging may not favor that type of pot-shotting manner in that type of frame, if that is where Shakur chooses to go to again. And if that does happen, we could be in a situation where he could be down to a point where he's got to be forced to fight, because now his willingness not to take punishment and being so conservative, if it gets pushed to that point, because of potentially the body starting to feel the effects, could lean into Teofimo Lopez, because he also has the cachet to get benefit of the doubt on the same par as Shakur, which we had to say is a big factor in this entire fight game. Your reputation, your cachet, your notoriety, your marketability. There's a reason why Tank can get away with stuff that other boxers can't. There's a reason why that knockdown wasn't called for Tank and it would be called for everybody else. Name recognition gives you a different level of cachet. Tyson Fury gets more slack in situations than others because of what he's shown. Usyk gets more slack than others because of what he's shown. Canelo, same thing. This is the medal that legacy helps to provide, and more so notoriety helps to provide. More than that, medal's the wrong one. More so leeway. It's cushion. That's the word. Cushion. TEO's got that too. So in a game where it is taking the lead, because Shakur may not want to feel that power downstairs, it could be a weakness that doesn't in fact get hidden, but in fact gets exposed in this fight, because now you don't want to engage. The power of TEO may be more than what it was with Zepeda. It most definitely will be. And if he does indeed start getting to a point where you are trying to get away, and that identity of, oh, he's boxing so beautifully, doesn't just fall default to you, and people and judges and people start saying, oh wait, TEO's actually taking control, getting the benefit of the doubt could be a bad thing. And it could all start with that body attack. It could all start with that body attack for Teofimo Lopez, putting legit damage on the likes of Shakur Stevens. And if so, might have ourselves a pretty decent, potential dangerous affair. We just might, absolutely, we just might. But like I said, I just wanted to cover that real quick as a potential weakness in my mind for TEO and Shakur, specifically with Shakur going into this fight. And again, I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions on anything that we discuss going forward. But also, we still got more to cover on the show as well, as we still have the likes of Raymond Murtala versus Andy Cruz also happening on this weekend. Yes, indeed, get excited. Make some noise. We are ready. We're ready. We are indeed ready. And going back to the chat that we had downstairs, or rather, go back to the chat that we had as of right now. When again, wait, did I never switch the thing? Wait, hold on. Time out. Was the title never, dang it. I might have not ever switched the title. Shoot, I had it, dang it. I might have not ever switched the title for the Shakur's biggest weakness situation. Doggone it. Shoot. Oh, well, we're going to keep it rocking either way. We're going to keep going on and talk about Raymond Murtala versus Andy Cruz in a fight that everybody does want to see. And I need to burn good tech. Well, look, I appreciate it. Like I said, you don't got to agree. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions on anything that we discuss right here on this show. But that's just my opinion on it all. We had to say this. Shakur may not get the benefit of the doubt of just having outright control with his conservative nature if, in fact, he starts backing up because of the power of De Los Santos and TEO, but his own reputation as well as his better offensive right. With you going and backing up could be in a potential state where you're falling right into where he wants you to be. And it could be the perfect storm of, hey, he can now start taking the fight away. Making it so that you got to meet him in the ring where you don't want to be, because now you felt, oh, we got something I actually got to worry about. Could be a dangerous situation. We're going to see what happens. But even still, Raymond Murtala. We need to talk about Raymond Murtala. Yes, indeed. Murtala versus Andy Cruz happening this weekend. And it's a very much, if you don't think this is a close 50-50 matchup, it is a quality matchup to have garnered. Now, you need to tune into. It is a crowning moment for two people. Raymond Murtala, like I said, is already a champion. I believe he's the IBF champion. If I'm wrong, please excuse me. But he's one of the belt holders in the division. And we're looking at Andy Cruz looking to finally take the leap with his short, but looking to be impactful professional career. 6 fights, 6-0, 3-0 in his KO regime with a training regimen that looks to have him sitting down more on his power and on his ability to land thudding shots, acclimating to more, rather not acclimating, more so molding that athletic ability and that latent power on a very much more dominating threshold. Hopefully, that's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing from how they're going about training with Bozy Ennis, and I believe it's Bozy Ennis who is training him. And the words that he was saying, he's like, yeah, this cat's cracking. This cat's hurt. This cat's putting some real feet to the fire. If that's the case, well, we're looking at a situation where we could indeed see Andy Cruz get a knockout. Not even a knockout, a knockout in a way that is emphatic to a point that all of that pedigree, all that Olympic background, all of that stuff that he was talking about with him being the daddy of Keyshawn Davis because he beat him in the Olympics, it could come to fruition. Absolutely. And I would love to hear from you all. Add your opinions and takes on it all. But let me see what you got to say on the day. I think it's hilarious how people are counting out Murtala because of Andy's background. But people who know boxing know Murtala is a smart fighter as well. And you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Murtala, again, Murtala has been put in a very from a nature of recognition. Murtala's been put in a compromising position because of everybody surrounding him in the ranks of boxing. It's one of the situations where you have there's quality people in divisions that get overlooked due to the fact that who they're facing off against is indeed, from a notoriety standpoint, so much more of a tornado of marketability, of cachet, of recognition from the casual and public appeal. Though both Andy Cruz and Murtala are more, they're still hardcore names that many casual people may not ever know. From the standpoint of just walking down the street, you probably wouldn't know. But even amongst the hardcore, something kind of gets under the radar. This is not a knock against them. It's just the fact that, right now, boxing is a sport dominated by lead actors. That's not a knock against their skill or ability or what they can be. It's the nature of the beast. It's why so many people undermine a lot of others' resumes due to the fact that they just aren't privy to understanding who, in fact, is making up the resume of their favorite fighter or the fighter that they're trying to detract against. Because they don't know. Many times. But Murtala, quality opponent, very powerful, 23-0, 17 KOs, is currently number 4 or 5 in the world from the standpoint of the division of lightweight 135. Coupled with the fact that as a champion, he's one of the 4 or 3 reigning folks in this entire division. Undisputed, again, goes to him in some capacity. This cat is not smart, but he's smart with a purpose. He's smart with a course of action. He's not just a boxer puncher. He's got an elevated level of power that ranks among some of the best in this division. Again, we don't talk about it as much, but he's got more knockouts than Floyd Schofield. Got more knockouts than Lamont Roach. Keyshawn Davis, 13-0, 9 KOs. Got more knockouts than him. Though Keyshawn again is at 140. And we also understand, yes, younger career, got to the position of championship status quicker. We get it. Understand it. And when I talk about talent, power is on par with, as well as at near the tops of some of the biggest punchers in this division. Keyshawn Abdullah Mason, 20-0, 17 KOs on his resume. Granted, he's 21 years old. It's a testament to his own ability. But we talk about these other big-time punchers at this division. As well as, again, Tank with, 20-plus KOs, 28. We understand. But he's of that ilk as well. Is punching with a purpose. He is a very smart, deliberate fighter. That if you don't have your wits about you, if you get too cute with the way you go about fighting Murtala, he can put you out. He can put you out clean. He can put you out clean. Put you out clean, quick, and in a hurry. Without any course of remorse. That's what Andy Cruz is dealing with. And that's what I'm saying Andy Cruz got to be careful. That's why I'm saying Andy Cruz has to be careful. And that's why I'm loving the fact that under the likes of Bozy Ennis, is it Boozy or Bossy? Or is it Bozy? whatever it is. Be in this. I'm gonna say that. Yeah, BE. Well, under the Ennish regime, with reports coming out to him, and again, if I can pull up the clip, I'll find it myself. But we see that Cruz, with all of that athletic ability, is learning and is adapting better to sitting down on his punches and being able to really crack. Still have that dancing style in the Cuban regime of being slick, being able to have the footwork and all this stuff, understandable. But now looking more so to turn what we have all seen can be incredibly dangerous power into a consistent threat that everybody has to worry about beyond just, or rather just as much as being made to look like a fool because you're being, again, masterly maneuvered where Andy Cruz wants you to do, and again, in that Cuban style. We see that match up with each other. Oh, we can have ourselves a very not just fire-driven affair from the standpoint of punch output and exciting fight as a whole. We not only can we see that, we can see a metamorphosis. We can see a metamorphosis of Andy Cruz as a boxer, 32 years old, or 31, 32 years old, in his prime, quickly making moves to go and make some waves. I mean, really make some waves. Make some waves in a dangerous way that will have everybody saying, oh, wait a minute now. Hold on a minute. This cat, it ain't a fluke. This ain't a joke. This ain't just another prodigy that's got a pedigree that doesn't got substance. Now, this is a quick maneuvering cat that can do some real damage. And when he wins, I won't say when, I'll say if, because again, it's a close fight. I think Andy Cruz will win this fight. I really do. I think Andy Cruz will knock out Raymond Mortala, or at least win by unanimous decision, pulling away later on in the later stages of the rounds, between rounds 9 and 12. That's what I think. But regardless of what I may think, this ain't nuts. This ain't something that if you know the game and you know Cruz, this ain't just a proving ground. This is a litmus test that is going to make or break. Hey, how do we feel against you and everybody else in this division? Because Murtala's great. Absolutely, he's a phenomenal fighter. But if you can't beat Murtala, we're not saying triangle theory, but we're saying it's going to be very hard pressed to buy into the fact that if you being able to beat Keyshawn Davis in the professional ranks, same way you were able to beat him in the Olympics, ain't going to be the same outcome. You against the likes of Gervonta Davis, if that fight ever does happen, because who the Lord knows what's going on with him. He's still on the run to this day. Even what attorneys don't even know where that brother is. He's gone to the win. He is legit. Looks like he's on the run actively. But we can throw that potential outcome as an unlikely scenario. You move up to 140. Dangerous sentiment, especially with now Frank Martin added to this whole mix with Lamont Roach, with SHAKURS, with Keyshawn Davis, and others. TEO, Shakur, Sabril, Pueo, Dalton Smith, Gary Antoine Russell. Look, man, if those are the heights that you're trying to reach, because once you cross that threshold of 140, it ain't just Keyshawn that you're going to be gunning for. It's going to be everybody. Without Murtala on your resume as, yeah, I got the win against him, it's going to be hard pressed for me to say that you can beat all of them if that is your goal. And then, so because of that, it can be concerning. It can be very concerning. But let me see. This is round 1 of Bosley versus Robert. Oh, yeah. Oh, that is true. That is true. Bosley versus, I believe, Robert Garcia. This is about round 1 as a game plan. As you know, as we're going through, Andy Cruz training with Boozy Ennis, going against Robert Garcia. This is both of them under the table. With this being said, preview of some of the ideologies that each coach brings to the table. It's going to be a battle. It's going to be about an early test of game plans for the bigger war at hand, if in fact that war does happen between Boots and Virgil Ortiz. Two of the best in each of their stable, not just two of, the best outright in each of their stable. Both of them handpicked and curated. We even had an interview with Robert Garcia saying that the most disciplined fighter in his stable is Virgil Ortiz. And the most talented fighter in Boots' stable is Boots in it. So I understand. Absolutely. An early comparison of what can be, and most likely will be, used as adjustments going into the bigger war that will be Boots versus Virgil Ortiz, which is going to be exciting. I can't wait for it. It's a battle of two phenomenal coaches, and round one of what can potentially be a 2 to 3 round fight. Because who knows if they'll rematch each other. This fight ends in a draw. We could see another crack at the bat. Either way, I'm excited for it. I can't wait to see it. And we will talk about more so going into Thursday as well as Friday. Talking about this fight because there's a lot to cover. Trust me, there is a lot to cover. We're trying to make sure we can cram as much stuff into this show as possible. So, we're trying a new formula from the standpoint of how we go about this show. We're still going to take a question, absolutely. We're trying to have a better flow into how we go about from top at the top. Hopefully you're enjoying it. If not, you want me to stay on stuff a little bit longer. Hey, all you got to do is put your questions down in the chat down below, and we can see what you got to say. And please keep on commenting. Please keep on sharing. Please keep on going through and subscribing to the channel, liking the stream, and letting everybody know this is the hottest show in all the globe, right here on YouTube and on every podcasting platform imaginable. Absolutely. But let me see what you all got to say. Are you going to live stream the press conference tomorrow? I don't. No, I won't, because I got some stuff I got to handle on tomorrow. And the personal stuff that I got to deal with, and so I'm not going to be able to do it on Wednesday. Again, that's why I'm saying Thursday we're going to have a lot of stuff to talk about and cover in regards to that fight with the press conference and everything involved. So trust me, we're going to have some time to cover, but I won't be able to do the live streams. Also, plus, I don't generally do, just as a disclaimer, I don't generally do press conference live streams. Sometimes I do for like some of the bigger affairs, but because of the fact that I don't have, I'm not partnered with the Zone, or I'm not partnered with, the Ring, or I'm not partnered with, Matchroom or some of these other things where like I can have the live stream shown on screen as well as being able to talk about it with you all and reacting to certain points of emphasis. It's not as engaging per se with the audience to kind of just be, talking and then breaking news, somebody said da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and then going back into, y'all can't really see nothing. We're just trying to talk about it until, until something that is worthwhile discussing takes precedent. The face-offs are great, but that don't come to an hour after. And so it's not getting showbiz, and you don't notice that I have those partnerships that are able to do that. And so it makes for an engaging thing. But kind of without that, the on-screen presence with the commentary, it doesn't work the same. A fight, you can do a fight like that, but press conference, it's kind of, for me, it doesn't work the same way from the standpoint of fan engagement, at least from what the public has been, perpetuating. So if they want it, we'll try to do it, but we'll have to see what the bigger swath of people may say. But even still, with that being said, we'll have more discussion on that throughout the week, absolutely, later on. But we do need to go and discuss the other topic of discussion, like we said, with the docket of the day. Jermell Charlo, yes, he's back. Apparently, he's back. Definitely, he's back. And we are gonna be so excited to see how things go with that, as we see with Jermell Charlo having full-blown training footage and returning to the ring, as well as some beef with his brother, apparently going about where everything ain't all cordial within the Charlo household, and it could lead hypothetical to a very unique and hopefully exciting circumstance where some fans are starting to call for a brother versus brother all-out war on a pay-per-view with the PBC. Again, we're going to talk about that. Absolutely. But let me see what you all got to say. What about next week's fight? With Shakur and TEO? Yeah, Shakur and TEO was going to be a fight because of the amount of interest that everybody was, on a grand scale, was going into wanting to see. Might be more inclined to stream, or rather to have a show while that one's going on. I believe the press conference falls on the Sunday that we do the show, so it kind of works out greatly. Oftentimes, if I do have a live stream in tandem with a press conference, it's because in most actuality, that press conference falls on the same day as the upload schedule. So if it doesn't, yeah, it's kind of, I don't always make concessions. Sometimes I do, but I don't always. But we'll see how it goes. Backwam and Josh Taylor, or with Backwam and Josh Taylor or Zayas versus the Boss. Yeah, I most likely, well, if it falls on the same day as the normal schedule of live streams, because I can't remember exactly when the date is for those press conferences come next week. Yeah, I'll do them, and it would kind of be like a tandem thing. But if it falls on like a Wednesday or like a Monday, unless it was like, a Fury versus Usyk type of situation, or, one of the three fights with, Shakur and TEO, Inoue versus Nakatani, AJ versus Fury, those types of things, that would be type of stuff. So that's what I would do. In terms of press conference, that's how I would approach it. But all those fights are happening on. Wait a minute. Hold on. You know what? You right. If you're talking about the fight, yeah, we're going to be live streaming the fights. If you're talking about the fights, yeah, we're going to be live streaming the fights. Absolutely. Absolutely. Unless what I can get to works, outside of the YouTube space. We're going to be live streaming the fights, almost surely. Because, yeah, they are all happening on the same day. At the same time. At the same place. It's going to be a barn burner. Insanity. It's ridiculous. It's insane. Legitimately, it's insane. So I'm like, don't worry about that. It's probably going to be an all-day affair. And we're going to probably run into the same situation when we had Ben Rodriguez and Manny Pacquiao fighting against each other, fighting on the same day, literally at the same time. We were calling both fights at the same time, round by round, literally. Calling fights round by round, calling action dual ways. Felt like I was Kevin Harlan. Calling the NFL at some point. It was insane. We're going to be calling those fights. Press conferences, it kind of depends on when they fall, and if it falls on Sunday as my show. Absolutely. But with all that being said, again, we would want to make sure that we keep the show going as much as possible. It's still hard to believe every fight, all those fights are happening at the same day, at the same time. That's ridiculous. That's stupid. We're going to figure it out. We're going to figure out how to make it work. We will. Trust me. We will. We done it before. We'll do it again. Somehow, some way, we'll do it again. Absolutely. But as we keep on going through, we do got to discuss a little bit with Jamel Charlo as we finally have some legit, straight up, when I say straight up, I mean full-blown, like round footage of the likes of Charlo fighting and working on the bag, not even in the bag, in actual sparring. Going up against, well, actually, I don't even know who he was going up against, but it was a full-blown 3-minute session where we got Charlo actively working, legitimately working. In fact, I'll show you the training footage, myself in the old picture if it loads up. Hold on, give me 1 second. Let me make sure it actually load for the public to see. Because Lord knows, we don't want stuff not to work. We do not want stuff not to work. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Okay, there we go. Okay, yep, got it right here. Let me pull it up for you in the old picture. No, that ain't it. Hold on a minute. You seeing me? Well, you see me while seeing me? Okay. Hold Hold on. We about to have it right. We about to have it right. That still ain't got it. Hold on. What's going on? There we go. Okay. I don't know where I had my stuff just tripped out. Here we go. Now we got it right. Picture in picture. Charlo actively training in the ring, in the gym, full-blown sparring, as you can see. Yes, indeed. Hey, he's back. He's back. He's actively working. He's actively trying to put on some shot. He is legitimately going through the motions of getting back in prime form. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? All of that talk now backed up with some legitimate substance. Hey, and it's pretty good. The jab still looks to be, it can be a tad bit sharper, but like I said, it still has that vaunted snappiness that we love to see. There's still some stuff he needs to work on from the standpoint of getting back in rhythm. Mind you, this is the first time he's been on a public appeal, sparring and fighting of any capacity in this type of vein since his fight with Canelo Alvarez. We got walked down to Kingdom Come and completely got outboxed and right out of the building. That's the truth. That's the truth. That's the outright truth. And now you're seeing an entire round of him being able to go through and work and look to get back in pace. As you see with him landing a sharp right hand and still getting caught himself as well, but he was still... he's still calling everybody out. And he's still saying, I want all the smoke. And we've even got tweets of Charlo going through and talking about his return. Essentially saying things of, hey, look, 154 has been a division that's been stagnant. And I'm going to be the guy to break up all of that tension. Where's I know I say the tweets back to back to back. Where's that? I had it right. Did I save him? I thought I saved him. I thought, yep, as you see, boxing night, well, that's in reference to this brother in all actuality. But essentially he was saying that, and I'll say the tweets and I'll go through and I'll show the other tweets involving his brother later on as well. But in regards to Charlo in particular, look, he's saying that the 140 we're at a 154-pound division. It's been stagnant. I'm going to be the guy to go and shake everything back up and look to make everything work like it's supposed to. I'm taking over, rah, 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 all this same noise that he always says. And again, it's a tried and true testament. But with him being back and with some of that footage, if you want to go and see it fully for yourself, I'm going to say this, and it might be a little bit controversial. I don't know where Charlo can rank in the competitive nature of 154 right now, beyond just the name recognition, because of how the division has developed and has gotten so much more dangerous since him leaving. With the amount of people like Fundora who's gotten better, Keith Thurman's come back into the mix and looks to be still at 35 years old, hey, I still got more than enough in the tank to still give all of you all a run for your money. We have Majimov, who gave Terrence Crawford all he can handle. Gave him a fight to Virgil Ortiz before Virgil Ortiz ultimately beat him. You have Virgil Ortiz himself, who's looked to become, based on his last couple performances, more destructive, smarter. Boots Ennis, who's now Jerron Ennis, who came on the scene and has already made a spark at 147 with all the pomp and circumstance that has him on a pedestal above the boxing world. Now he's in this mix as one of the most dangerous fighters here outright from a talent perspective. Looks to blow you and Charlo out the water. There is a big, and I do mean big time wall of talent that has only built up more and more in the framework of 154. Yes, it's been stagnant, understandable. Yes, absolutely. It has not been to the degree of momentum, having the ball rolling, the wheel churning that we wanted to see as fans. I get it, understand it. But it is the amount of kinetic energy stored up in this division that has only been added on since Charlo's departure from boxing has only made Charlo's status as a competitive name hinge more on the name rather than the talent. Based on sparring, while I'm not saying it means everything. Again, he's getting his wits back about him in a live game of this division. He's talking a big game, understandably so. He was undisputed. He was one of the better fighters in the world. He was, because of that undisputed status, on pound-for-pound regimes. That undisputed status got him a ticket to Canelo. Though, again, he wet the bed. He went through while he was on top and showed you I deserve to be here. But now, it's a different world. Not the show, but the environment that Charlo's walking into. It's a different world. It's a different danger. It's a different threat. It's a different monster. It isn't just one or two people that can crack that are now running the division. It's 4 to 5. The people that you could have outboxed now, it's not as certain. The people that you could have outworked, now they've gained a gas tank and an engine. And the people that you were on par with or above while you were at this division now are closer to the status of what you were when you were at Undisputed Champion. And where you have regressed to potentially with you at 154 now in your return may be at a point where now they are able to beat you legitimately, wholeheartedly. It's a more than a possibility. It's a real cause for concern. Yes, it is. Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is. Don't let the bravado dissuade you from the reality of this division. Everything with Charlo, it still may be true, but it's passed him by. Why? Because what's been proven by those who have been around still has now gotten to a point where they run the show, and Charlo, your respect, it may still be there, but it's got to be shown as, okay, we can give it to you in the light of day again, beyond just what your accomplishments were. That it's a different day and it's a different world. It's a different world. But let me see. Let me see what you all still have to say right here, right now. Jamel is a type to mess around and find out Boots would dominate Charlo. Same with Virgil. He needs to tune up if he wants to be a part of the picture. And he needs it now. Time is ticking. And that's the real issue. He is gunning for the biggest names off rip. He wants the biggest stars off rip. But he isn't ready for the biggest stars off rip right now. His bravado, I love. Be clear. I'm excited that we're seeing a Charlo that still says, I'm still reigning up here. I love that we're seeing a Charlo that still says, I'm the biggest man that everybody should be putting, not just in a hype and legacy standpoint. Oh, it's Charlo. He can bring us such a big fight. He's still a big name. He still feels he can conquer the world. You're going to need that bravado. You're going to need that type of confidence. Everybody needs that type of confidence. We even talked about, I was going to play a clip with Shakur Stevenson that we'll probably play later on in the show when talking about his confidence level going up against Teofimo Lopez. What he's going to do to him, how he's going to beat him, how much he's going to destroy him, all this stuff, rah, rah, rah. He had all of that. He needs that. Charlo needs that. But the issue is there's still wisdom that needs to come into play when you're trying to make it back to the top of the mountain. There's still wisdom in where you are that you have to be able to accept. Not just accept, you have to be able to use. You have to be able to make it a point that you are to some degree behind the 8 ball. If you can beat Pacquiao, okay, beat Pacquiao. immediately fighting for a title and performing in the way that he did, that's not common. But again, it's Pacquiao. 1 in a million. The rarity of it all. Absolutely. But if you're anybody else, don't look at him and say that can be you. You got to be able to come through and come to grips with the fact that, hey man, I need to, as much as there looks like there's some beef between your brother and you, Jamal and Jamel, some animosity between them. I don't know what happened, but Lord knows they got some issues. Guys, I can show you the tweets as to what he's going at him, what he's going at him about what. But take the route that your brother took. Go and tune up. Go and take a fight that it's a test, but it's not the test. To put you in perspective where you can accomplish championship aspirations off rip. I don't see you as being there. Hopefully, in your confidence, you don't view yourself as, yeah, I can just stroll on in and do my job. Because if we're going off of what you look like in sparring, I'm going to tell you this right now. It ain't looking pretty if you go up against the likes of Boots. It ain't looking pretty if you go up against the likes of Ortiz, Sebastian Fundora. It ain't looking pretty if you went up against the likes of Bakra. From the initial perspective of talent versus talent. Not because of what you don't know. You know a lot. It's because of what you can do. And what you can do right now may be rusted away. Like I said, going off what we've been able to see. You working on the inside like that and you getting cracked. That was a Bakra that was fighting against you in sparring. You would be in trouble. That was a Boots in a live fight situation in the round that we just saw you in, you would be in trouble. That was a Virgil Ortiz that you was fighting against in that sparring session that we just looked at, you would be in trouble. You would be in trouble with a lot of these different people. You'll be in trouble with a lot of these different talents, styles, abilities. Why? Because we don't see you as ready for them yet. Though you can talk your talk. Mind you, if you stayed around, you could have talked your way into a big fight and you still would have been who you needed to be to beat them. You ain't there yet. You ain't there right now. May never be there. You may not. And because of that, there's a danger that we could see Charlo. Dare I, again, I'm not saying it's confirmed. I'm not saying that it's going to be a concrete yes. But what I am saying is that there's a concern that we could see a viable fall off. That Charlo becomes a non-factor in this entire regime of boxing. We could very much see it. We could very much see it. We could very much see it. We could see that because for whatever reason as to why Charlo was gone, Charlo no longer becomes a factor as to the makeup of this division, as to the groundwork of this division, the framework, the structure. None of it. The foundation that this division moves with, or rather is predicated on, with your results in mind. Doesn't happen like that no more. Your stardom has been overshadowed. Your cachet has not been overlooked, but it's been to some degree ignored because of your lack of involvement. And your call-outs, while they have been abundant, they fall on deaf ears for people because they don't see the substance of who you are as a legitimate thing to care about. Best way I can say it. You are in the same breath as Errol Spence Jr. in a bad light. And we're saying that fight could be the fight. And speculatively, some rumors around the boxing world are saying that's going to be the fight that can happen next. That's not just the most makes sense fight, but that's the fight that potentially both Spence and Charlo are truly gunning for, even though Charlo is calling out all these other people. Rumors, I repeat, rumors, speculation. Don't put it on me.
Hey, look at this.
I am simply telling the news. Simply telling the rumor mill. The rumblings of what may be happening. Nothing set in stone. Be clear. But it is a fight that has seemingly behind the scenes gained a little bit more traction as the fight that we will see both of them return to. Which I would love. But whether I love it or not, whatever happens, you're in the same boat as him. You have to, with all due respect, to some degree, take what you can get. Give yourself a means to make a statement, to make the public have you as back into the fixture at which this community of boxing revolved around, at least at 154. Where the footsteps that you made shifted the landscape of what this division was going to be looked at, the trajectory. For everybody else, you got to earn that right back. You got to earn that type of respect back. Because if I'm being completely honest, everybody's looking at you right now from the standpoint of 154. They're looking at you as, to some degree, food. To some degree, they're looking to you as food. Is it worth fighting you for the money? Can you draw the same way? I don't really know. You ain't in the championship picture. You've been out the running. Your name's gone lower and lower in stock. The only thing that's been attached to is drama to some capacity. Yeah, you bring in something, but is it? Everybody else got bigger fish to fry. 8 of the 10 people in the top 10 are in a position for a championship opportunity with any win that they get against each other, if they so choose to move as such. If they so choose to move. Some of them are looking to unify right now, like Zayas and the boss. Fundora taking on Thurman, and after Thurman, potentially he's got a shot to go and unify against Zayas. If Zayas wins and become a 3-belt holder. Or take on the task of finally being the guy to give the shot to Virgil Ortiz for a championship, or give the shot to Boots Ennis for a championship if that fight with Boots and Virgil Ortiz indeed does not happen and falls by the wayside amidst all this legal trouble. All of this is people are gunning for. All this other stuff. People are gunning for all this other stuff. Madrimov's got Boots in his sight to some degree, because people are saying that Boots can potentially struggle against Madrimov, and he could actually give him a run to beat him because of the stylistic nature, putting him back into a title opportunity. Bochuk, while he got beat by Adams, still got beef with him, but still can be looking to get potentially a rematch of Virgil Ortiz if all this stuff falls through, because of that fight of the year that we got last time, a couple of years, 2 years ago. Or can fight anybody within their top 10 to get a potential momentum shift back in his favor. Adams, who beat Bochuk, now got his name on the map as somebody who, hey man, he beat somebody we thought had gotten better since the last time you beat him. And you beat him even more soundly than the first time when you knocked him out. You did. And now we got to look at you and Adams and say, hey man, Adams got some shine to throw his weight around to some degree, to get some decently substantial fights in his way, or become a guy to say, hey, if they letting Wilder go and have a voluntary title opportunity against Usyk, dare I say, with the threat that I am, and with who I beat in my last fight, I can have that window potentially attached to me. Hence, there's a door open. Everybody's thinking in a manner that ain't got you in mind. And if it does have you in mind, you don't want to fight them because you feel that you're above them if you're Charlo as a name. And you may well be. But you ain't proven at this point with 2 years gone, and you never had the track record, or rather the hype, that a long layoff would not severely hurt you. Like a Pacquiao, like a Canelo, like anybody else. You don't have that degree of cachet. So in some respects, you got to start from the bottom up. From the bottom up. It's a shame, but it's the truth. Your return is, as much as it is a homecoming hypothetically for you back to boxing, it can be the last hurrah. It can be the last hurrah. This ain't your day. This ain't back in the day. This ain't 2020, 2019. This ain't even, this ain't even, 2023. It's 3 years removed from when you fought Canelo. When you were seen as the best at 154. Everything's flipped, and everybody that was under you has either eclipsed you or gotten on par with you. From a perspective, talent, and or, though they ain't get undisputed, they've gotten some accolades that, hey, we run the show. It's going to be interesting. And on the drama end, with this whole bravado that we've seen with Charlo, he's also been going at his own people. He's been going legitimate. It's not just the fact that he's thinking that he's bigger from the standpoint of notoriety for being able to get the fights that he's calling for. It's the fact that he's even going at his own people in regards to him in boxing and in fighting like his own brother. Not even let you see it for yourself. Boxing not a team sport. On to the next move was the best move. I don't know what everybody's fussing about. I've always said you doing something right when the other team start a feud. 154 is the most overlooked division. I'll fix that problem. Send me the contract. Talking to Eddie, everybody else, calling everybody else, and then goes and then brings up. Then if you look at the stuff that he said against his brother, picking fights left, right, and center. Said himself, I can't believe my own twin brother. Dude was on there talking like that because of jealousy. Kane killed Abel, right? Brother should have fought Canelo then. Now look at boxing. Them psychedelics got the best of them. Early bird gets the worm. We are not the same. Money Mel. Since you're going at from what I can infer, gripes against Jamal Charlo, calling out Jamal Charlo's performance in his move at 168. If I had my stuff correct, alluding to the fact that, hey, if you had a problem with how I went out and fought against him, you should have been the guy to fight him. Why are you talking bad about me? Again, hurting the reputation of what's supposed to be a very close brotherhood, and also stoking the flames that people are now saying, wait a minute, this ain't the Klitschko's. This ain't a blood-like bond from the standpoint of Keyshawn versus Shakur. They got issues with each other. They got problems, some of which, I don't know, so I'm not going to speak on. But apparently, they ain't on good terms. And people are saying, if you got beef with each other, step in the ring and shut it up. You want a comeback fight? We'll give you a comeback fight. Charlo versus Charlo at a catch weight of 158. Going and fighting against each other. Settle this beef. Show what both of you can do against each other when, again, this is a fight that's going to mean something. And see where it goes from here.
Hey, look at this.
I'm telling you, that has been the dominating precedent since all of this stuff has started to come out with Charlo. And because everybody wants to see you getting revved up, you getting excited. Even Dan Raphael saying, hey man, Jamel versus Jamal, brother versus brother, that's a pay-per-view fight that people would pay to see. They would. You want money, you got money. You want talent, you got talent. You want a story, you got yourself a story. And you want weight, even without a belt. You got weight. And I'm not going to lie, if that fight did take place, I wouldn't be mad at it at all. I wouldn't be mad at that fight at all. If it did take place, I wouldn't be. I would not be mad at that at all if that did occur. But let me see, man, it's crazy, ain't it? Like, yeah, it's insane. It's insane. I did not expect. I knew that they had some level of, no, Charlo had said, I think Jamal Charlo had said recently, or maybe like a couple years ago, we probably won't be on good terms with each other up until we're both done with boxing. I believe that was Jamal Charlo's words. And it's looking like it's bold and true, because, buddy, Jamal going for scorched earth. Saying, hey, man, since you stabbed me in the back, we ain't the same. How we move and who we are. You ain't like me. You ain't on my level to some degree. I can get that fight with Canelo. You can't. Because, not just because of my name, I'm a better fighter than you. Straight up. At least somewhat can be inferred. Not trying to read too far deep into it, but there's some, shots at each other. It ain't pretty. Or it ain't just because it's it's serious. It's some beef. It's some real beef. Butter against butter. I'm telling you, it's there. Like the story writes itself. It writes itself. We were supposed to get Charlo versus Resendez. That fight never took place. The main goal was Charlo versus Caleb Plant. That fight went away because Resendez won. Now, Charlo ain't got a fight scheduled. In terms of Jamal, Jamal is back in the gym training. Looks a little bit bigger. And not as, definitely ain't defined if you look at the training footage. But looks like, okay, he could make 160. You already fought at 168, you could definitely make it up there. And if you want to stake your claim, if you really think you like that, brother versus brother would be a perfect fight to kind of get you back in the mind's eye. And if you win, even better. If you win, even better. But it looks like that's a fight that isn't just a concern from the perspective of a Willie won't he? Or how can you all go against each other? You're so close. Y'all supposed to be sticking together. Bump that. If y'all want to make that, y'all want to jump, go on and jump. Like I said, that'd be something I pay for. I pay for that, absolutely. I would definitely pay for that. Let me see. Mel Ben said he would squabble them all if the money was right. Well, the money's right. At this stage, at where they are, the money's right. This is all they got. At this current point in time, Jamal Charlo ain't getting Janet back. He ain't getting Laura. He ain't getting Adamas. He ain't moving back. He ain't moving up to 168 most likely. He ain't fighting anybody at this point in time. That is the biggest money they can get. That's the biggest money they can get if we want to say the money's right. That's the best they can get. In a good way, but also in a de facto way. Charlo versus Boots, but with Boots, yeah, it'll sell, sure, but Boots ain't looking at you at all. If you're Jamal Charlo. Jamal Charlo, ain't nobody up there that can move the needle like that at 168. Or excuse me, at 160, excuse me. Or even shoot at 168. If it ain't Canelo. Shiraz is gaining ground. Berlanga then, after that knockout against Shiraz, fell off. Back to where he's supposed to be from a cachet standpoint. You got him, Billy. Great, exciting fight, but not the money that you're looking for. Martinez, great, exciting fight, not the money that you're looking for. Caleb Plant could be money, but we don't know that fight would even happen because, again, Plant lost. And nobody seems to be quick to try to still make that fight go and turn into a reality. So I don't know what the world to think, except for the fact this might be the best you can get. And if so, I would love to see it. I would love to see it. I can't see Maul ever doing it. I can't. Because one thing about Jamal Charlo, he will push the needle. Rocky relationships, as much as as much as it will be that you're brother with brother, and that's absolutely true, it'll come to a point where, okay, look, Jermell Charlo will cross a line if he ain't careful. That Jamal will say, all right, let's do it. You know, I know you said Maul. I know you said Jamal. I know that I can't see Jamal doing it either. Especially with what he went through after the 3-year, thing, layoff, and then coming back and getting his mind right. Understand? I get that. I'm saying that Jermell can push him to that point because of where the relationship is already rocky, to where it's like, you know what? I don't want to, but now you're disrespecting me to the point that this brotherhood, you're not acting like the brother that you are supposed to be. And you disrespect me to a point, because he will go there. Jermell will go there if he gets to a point where, hey, he feels like ain't nobody for me. He'll go there and isolate himself, even by putting his brother in a position to where, look, I don't know what you think you are. You couldn't beat me even if you wanted to. You ain't trying to. I'd beat you if I fought you. And I would indeed take you out. Don't be surprised if he uses the stuff that you went through with that 3-year hiatus mentally. Don't be surprised. It seems like a low blow. I'm telling you, Maul will go there even against his own brother. It is at least a possibility. Or excuse me, Jermell will go there even against his own brother. It's a possibility. It's not because I'm saying Maul doesn't want to not fight his brother. He probably doesn't want to fight him. But at some point in time, it's going to be, if we keep on seeing Maul get disrespected by Jermell, at some point in time, all right, we ain't the Klitschko's. We are not too far away to be like, you might be my brother, but I will put you down. And if you really want to walk this step, I'll walk it with you. And we'll go at each other. We'll make it happen. Again, I can see it. I can see Jamal getting pushed to that point. If we see the constant disrespect of Jermell Charlo continue to happen over the course of months to a year, we can see it. Because he's going to get asked about it. He gonna get asked about it. He gonna get consistently thrown in his face. Your brother said this about you. Jermell's gonna constantly get asked, hey, why'd you say this about your brother? Do you think you can beat him? Is there something that y'all gonna settle this in the ring? What was it that he did that got you so hot that now you think, hey man, he's against me? Why ain't you vying with your blood? All it's going to take is a couple slip-ups, a couple of key words from Jermell Charlo that Jamal is like, all right, this bond ain't what we thought it was going to be. What was supposed to be off the table is no longer off the table. I may not want to fight you, but if this is how you really feel, we'll go. And whatever happens, happens. But I will put you down. In his mind. Jamal's mind. He'll go with it. I guarantee you. I promise you. It can come to that type of head. I would love to see it, but it can come to that type of head. Also, Ryan Graves, what's going on with you? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show with us on today, on this Tuesday, afternoon, I get it. We got people here in the chat. We got people conversating. Please keep on leaving a like on the stream. Keep on sharing the show with everybody that you know. Keep on going through and letting us see what you all have to say on anything in regards to whatever you want to talk about on this show. We're getting ready to transition into the championship round, so get your questions ready. Absolutely. As of right now, we're talking about the drama of Jamal Charlo with a back and forth spat against each other over social media, as well as Jermell in his return to sparring, live sparring in the ring, as he now put out essentially a 3-minute video showing what he's working on, showing how he's getting in shape and getting ring ready for a return at 154. So we want to hear your thoughts and opinions on what you feel about all of that. But people might hate it, but I wouldn't mind Boots versus Mel next. I mean, I wouldn't either, but like Jermell would get destroyed. Jermell would get destroyed. He'd get destroyed. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I have said it before, and I'll say it again. Jermell Charlo better stay far away from Boots. I genuinely think Boots will put a stamp of an end on Jermell's career, or at least heighten or quicken that end to come about. He will expedite that process of Charlo's career going down and coming to an end because of how bad he will beat him. He'll be great for Boots Ennis and the legacy and the ability to show, hey, yeah, I'm this level of monster. Sure, I took out one of the former king of this, or the former king of this division. But Charlo, irreparable damage. Irreparable damage. If he wants it, sure, go on and take him, a boy. It will be bad. But let me see. I smell you, Jean-Luc. I just think Maul has a whole different mentality, different nature about him. And he does. Absolutely he does. But even as a, I don't know if you got brothers or not. Could be a single child or sibling, which again, it's nothing's better or worse. Your life is your life. But if you have a brother or have a sibling, yeah, there are lines that you don't cross, absolutely. And there are bonds that are like, hey, we get it. I'm not going to do this. But there's also a level of, there comes a point where something has to take a stand. If something keeps on wanting to push the envelope and it's now not amount of respect, or it's now not a factor of respect that this has to be done out of. It's now out of necessity. Okay. It's not going to stop, is it? You're not going to keep on demeaning me in this type of way. You want this and are willing to throw me under the bus in a way that attacks, not saying this is what he's doing right now. Well, to some degree, this is what he's doing. That attacks my character. That attacks how I've been as a brother to you and me as a man. As much as this line doesn't want to be crossed, and as much as I may have changed, which is all for the better, and Jamal Charlo looks like he has changed, that part of him still has it. In a good way. Where if business has to be handled, okay, we're going to move through. And if Jermell Charlo, keeps up this type of stint, and the money gets right, because the fans are going to want it, he'll make those concessions and say, you know what? It's time for me as a brother. I don't want to do this, but it's going to have to happen. Because you've pushed this relationship because of what you've said about me on a consistent basis. If this keeps on going, you've pushed this beyond the veil of this one contingency that cannot happen. Now goes from an impossibility to, we'll break the glass if we got to, since you really need this to happen. And I got to do what I got to do. Now, who do we think's going to win? That's a whole other conversation. But you can change and still be put in the same situation. You can change for the better, and still there's a point where you have to go and say, I got to take a stand. Even with this metamorphosis in your mentality. for better or for worse. Sometimes the line gets shorter, the line gets longer. From the standpoint of how much slack you give, but it's still there. It's still there. A parent and a child. I love my parents, as I assume you do as well. I would hope you do as well, depending on the relationship. But for people that have had damaged relationships with their parents and or children, there comes a point in time where there's a certain thing that what you thought would never be a crossed line, I got to do it. I got to do it now because you're giving me no other choice. I don't want to, but it needs to. You have forced this type of action between blood bonds to become a possibility due to your inability to stop pushing the envelope of what's supposed to be a non-negotiable topic or attack on this relationship, to the point that I got to defend myself in whatever capacity I got to. Though I don't want to, I got to do it. And we've seen it before, outside the ring and inside the ring. It happens. Shoot, we just saw Vargas brothers full-blown boxing each other in the hallway of a hotel. Not some play fight, real throwing each other down, fighting. And they brothers. Trust me, it ain't too far out of the picture. It's not too out of the picture. Let me see. I don't really know anything about the Charlos, so I got nothing to say. And again, it's understandable. It's been, a lot of stuff has been kind of kept under wraps because both of them have been on long hiatuses. Charlo, from what I understand, again, please fact check for yourself. But from what I understand, Jamal Charlo had said things about Jermell Charlo and his performance against Canelo in regards to why that fight went the way that it went. Charlo, in terms of Jermell Charlo, took offense to that. Hence why you have the tweet of him going about saying, "Can't believe my own twin brother." Dude was on here talking like, dude was on here in terms of Twitter talking like that because of jealousy. Cain killed Abel, right? Brother should have fought Canelo then. Now look at boxing. Them psychedelics got the best of them. Early bird gets the worm. We are not the same. Money Mel. This in response to the rhetoric that we saw Jamal Charlo say about Jermell Charlo and Canelo. I believe that's where this stems from. And because of that, like I said, we know Charlo. Both of them have had issues from the standpoint of, their own personal battles that they've dealt with. Both of them can get mad real quick. Both of them can feel disrespected real quick. And both of them are quick to get on the draw if need be. If they feel that, okay, you got something against me, we're going to have to work. We're going to have to move. And so that's where we at right now. That's why this is what it is happening. Or this is what's happening. So, people are now building up this potential foundation of a story. By the end of this year, if this keeps on escalating, if Jamal responds, and Jermell keeps on pushing the envelope again, we can see this continue to get to a point where, all right, we're going to have to sell this in the middle of the ring. And this, dare I say, becomes one of the hottest tickets in town from the standpoint of boxing. Though, again, it's butter against butter with the amount of build-up that everybody's been having with this fight of what could happen, and it all of a sudden becomes a potential reality. Everybody may then go on and say, you know what? We'll pay for it. I know I would. I definitely would. Let me see. Mel was trying to exploit some of the things Bebo did, but couldn't, and it didn't work because he's not Bebo. That's not his style. Yeah, absolutely. Even worse, he didn't even attempt Like he might have tried, but he didn't even attempt to continue or make any other game plan. Like I said, he quit without going and saying, I'm done, and walking out in the ring. He laid down on his stomach and died, rolled over, and admitted defeat all 12 rounds after round 1 because of the fact that he did not want to have any part of the actual power and stalk and walk nature of what Canelo Alvarez was. Didn't attempt to fight back, didn't attempt to adapt, didn't attempt to use his speed, use his jab, do anything remotely that he had even in his own arsenal to make that fight in any way, shape, or form go in his favor. He fought in the same way that we saw William Skull fight Canelo. But even worse, because he wasn't even throwing punches. He was so scared of what was going to come back at him, he didn't even want to throw against Canelo. He just wanted to run the ropes, throw out a conservative, get away from me jab, and then shell up and do nothing else. That's all he did. Literally ran a perfect circle around the squared ring. Insane, but that's the truth. It was so bad that both brothers got hit in a bad way from a reputation standpoint because of the way that he fought. It was that bad. It was that bad. And Skull did a lot better than Mel. At least Skull was countering Canelo when he came forward. Both of them were hard. But yeah, even with Skull throwing in a manner that was, yeah, you are running, he was at least trying to throw in some flurries. He was at least trying to throw in some. He even said, look, I thought that game plan was working, and I thought I should have won that fight. He at least put up, it wasn't a good game plan, but it was a game plan that he was actively at least attempting to put into practice. However much I didn't like it, it was not just a laid down effort. It was a try to escape with the bare minimum type of effort, but it was still more of an effort. It was more. It was absolutely more. And it's a shame. I'm just, Charlo, this is why I want Charlo to come back. And this is really what's so frustrating about this whole affair. Charlo is not in a position where he can afford to continue to talk without substance. He's not. He's not in a position where he can just talk without substance anymore. Your call-outs are all dead weight. Your lack of in-ring production and such a long time of just dead silence, or even worse, you were still talking, but you weren't really about the life that you said that you were. It's now caused everybody to see you as there's no point in us caring. You lack weight. You lack fruitfulness. You lack any stability for fans to latch onto and say, yeah, he's still him. You lack all that. At least from my perspective. There's nothing about Charlo that I can buy into outside of I just want to see him in the ring to prove something. But if he hasn't proved anything since his loss to Canelo. We've gone from saying he's been living off his money to saying he just ain't driven in the sport to saying he just wants to keep his name in the news but doesn't actually want to do work to he's coming back, but he sure enough isn't able to get these other big fights because he hasn't proved nothing. To now calling out every single fighter possible, just throwing out names, using AI pictures, which again I despise, all to try to build up a fabricated type of hype that has nothing on a tangible level. Charles, when his name is brought up, I don't think of who he can beat. I just think of who's going to beat him. Because there's no belief I have in Charlo right now. None. I got more belief in Jamal than Jamel. And Jamel is the more accomplished one. I got more belief in Jamal making some noise at 168 than I got in Jamel making noise at the division that he was undisputed in. Because I don't believe in him. And he hasn't given me anything since his stint to make me believe that Charlo that was before dominating the world can get back and become real again, even a semblance. I have no belief. None whatsoever. And it's all because of him. I don't believe him. Why believe you? You gave us nothing to believe in. Nothing. That's where we're at right now. The past is the past, absolutely. We don't take away from the accomplishment. We take away from the now. Because the now is what you are. You've given us nothing to quote Kendrick Lamar. You've given us nothing to believe in. So why believe you? You talk this big game. Why believe you? You had opportunities that you could have came back and fight, but you didn't. Why believe you? You had chances to show us you still about that life, but you didn't. Why believe you? There's nothing to believe in. And if you come back and you talk all that talk and you lose, what we gonna say? You lied. You lied. That's what we're gonna be again, like Kendrick Lamar. You lied. That's what we're gonna be saying. You lied. Further putting you in a deeper hole. There's nothing worth me holding on to with Jermell Charlo right now. Nothing. And if he wants to show something, get off of Twitter. Spar like your life depends on it. And get a fight. Because if you don't, you're just noise in the wind. Leaves in the breeze. Grass on a meadow. Shifting and moving. As the flow of time washes over them. Guess what that means? The flow of time, of wind, moves over the grass, causing a rustle, causing a ruckus. You hear the grass, but the grass don't move. It bends, but it stays stagnant. Why? Because the wind's moving forward. Right now, Charlie was a blade of grass that is just stagnant as the wind keeps on blowing past him. There's nothing that he's given me to believe in him because he's stagnant. If he stays with that, it's going to be a bad, however long he stays in boxing, it's going to be a bad time. It's going to be a very, very bad time. But let me see. Jamel should stay at 168, fight Iglesias or Janibek. I mean, Jamal should. If he wants the opportunity for a title, now I'm scared of him against Iglesias. And I don't think he can beat Janibek. Though, again, when he's in his return, he did look better than we thought. It was supposed to be a return getting ready for 168. If he is staying at 168, he wants to vie for a title against Janibek, sure. Or against Iglesias, who everybody doesn't want to fight him. So be it. Even though Iglesias, I think, got confirmed with another fight as Munguia and Canelo both passed over him for a title opportunity. Make it happen. But let me see. Scratch that, not Iglesias. But okay, excuse me. Yeah, that's a better name. That's a better name. That's a better name. Jamal Charlo versus Munguia. If you want to get yourself to show what you can do as Charlo in terms of Jamal at 168, that's a perfect fight. That's a perfect fight. And it's not an easy fight, but it's a perfect fight. Especially with the fact of what we saw him do against Saras. While he was better, He still got knocked out by Shiraz. And some of the stuff that still has been a problem for Munguia still is a problem to this day that Charlo could absolutely take advantage of. Especially with that sharp, and I do mean sharp jab, that Jamal Charlo has in his arsenal. It can be good. It can be really, really good. But let me see. Iglesias is a scary guy, 168. Got Canelo and Munguia ducking him and avoiding him. Yeah, man, he's a monstrous figure. He's a dangerous figure. Starting to get some belief that at 168, we might have to put him as one of the, from a damaging standpoint, he could be one of the more fervent front runners to get a opportunity to get undisputed. With the likes of Shiraz and Canelo being again, of the top of that list. Iglesias could be there as well. He could be there in that conversation as well, no question about it. I mean, I hope Iglesias gets the Ramirez fight. I hope he does as well because I want to see him back in action. Oscar ain't putting him in there. Oscar ain't putting him in there. Maul. I mean, look, at this point, Oscar may not have. If Oscar may be forced, depending on how this lawsuit goes, to start giving these fighters what they want and putting them in fights that, hey, it's a risk. You don't have to. Because Virgil Ortiz is getting ready to look, I'm about to walk because you ain't giving me what I want. You ain't doing what I'm going to do, what I need, what I want to do. So, if I can walk, guarantee everybody else might start following behind. Promise you. It can happen, absolutely. No question. No question about it. It's good. I thought that's actually a good question. Hold on, let me see. Hold on, let me check that. I can actually check that real quick. Is Munguia still with Golden Boy? At this point in time, yes, he is. He signed. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. Hold on, no, time out. I'm sorry. Munguia officially left Golden Boy Promotions mid-2024, signing a multi-year co-promotional deal with Top Rank. Okay, so he's with Top Rank. He's not with Oscar De La Hoya anymore. So no longer is he with Oscar De La Hoya. He is with Top Rank and Bob Arum as a fighter under their promotion. So, yes, this fight can potentially happen. It can potentially happen. Now, it's more likely. Because Golden Boy losing people left, right, and center. Yes, they are. Let me see. Real quick before we continue, we are going to step into the world of the championship rounds real quick right here, right now. Yes, indeed. Come on. We've covered all the main stuff. Now it's time to hear from you all in regards to everything involving the world of boxing and beyond, whether it's the college football championship, whether it's the NBA, NFL, boxing as a whole, or anything else, movie, sports, television, video games, all that stuff. If you want to talk about it, be about it right here on the show. I want to hear from you all. So let's jump right into it. Let's jump right into the world of boxing. Make the show your own. Make this show what you want it to be. 30 minutes to an hour. Any questions and conversations on anything we talk about today or anything you just have as a discussion, we want to hear from you. Absolutely. So let's get this ball rolling, shall we? Let's see what you all got to say on the day. As we're getting ready to get to, that we're nearing the end of this show. Let me see. Hey, Jean-Luc. Shakur recently said, in a way, it's not that great. What is that right there? That's actually a perfect segue into one of the clips I had with Shakur Stevenson. If you didn't know, we've been seeing stuff with Shakur and TEO going through the ranks of building up that fight in what is a fight that's quickly selling out, and as it gets closer, we're less than a week away, it is getting even more highly anticipated in regards to the landscape of this monumental pound for pound level clash between two of some of the best in the world. Genuine. and they're going about ranking and asking questions and going through how do you feel about X, Y, Z, and we're now seeing when he put up a rankings. Let me see if I can find the actual video. When he put up a rankings of who was good, great, and I think it was good. What was it? GOAT, great, and good was the qualifications for what Shakur was putting at. He put in a way and 2 other people at good. And mind you, this should not put us at a surprise. This should not be a surprise because of how we've seen the likes of Shakur talk about fighters and boxing as a whole and what he sees from the standpoint of his qualifications of what is and is not great. Like I even think he put Ali as good in the rankings. And so I can't, like, it's not new from that perspective, but it is indeed shame because of the fact that he is willingly disrespecting quality talent that he should be, in fact, striving to be like, which he could learn from. And this is, like I've said, we talk about this, the respect, or rather lack of, that we have with people below 130 happens all the time. It's not something that is new. This is why it's so hard for people at under 130, 126, 122, 115 to get that level of respect. Because they don't think you all that in the bag of chips. But it's a ridiculous statement. It's a ridiculous sentiment. It is a reckless and all around very much dumb claim that I hate it. I despise it. I can't believe he even thinks like this. But yet still, it's a shame. And I finally found a clip. Here it is. Let me show you all what he said verbatim, so you can see exactly what he feels and why he feels the way that he feels. Let me see right here as we go into the old picture. Here's the video I was looking for with Shakur ranking these people in categories.
And you got to put them in this category. GOAT, great, good, and garbage. Clarissa Shields.
GOAT.
Floyd Mayweather.
GOAT.
Inoue.
Good.
SHAKURS.
I'm going to put myself great, but I'm going to be a GOAT.
Ryan Garcia.
Good.
Devin.
Great.
Bud Terrence Crawford.
GOAT.
Jake Paul.
Good.
TEO Lopez.
Good, great.
Abdullah Mason.
Good.
Riley Romero.
Garbage.
Dan Rodriguez.
Great.
Lou Santos.
Great.
Virgil Ortiz Jr.
Great.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Now, see, I didn't get to see. What? Hold on a minute. Oh, Lord. Wait a minute. Wait a second. Oh, gosh. Wait. I never saw the whole list. Oh, my goodness. I'm sorry. This is the first time me seeing this whole thing. Wait 1 minute. Clarissa Shields, again, one of the greatest women, female boxers in history. Understandable, go. Floyd, go. Crawford, go. Cool. Absolutely. I ain't got no issue with it. Great. Shakur, yeah, he's a great fighter. No problem. Devin Haney got back into that great tier with that win against Brian Jr. No issue. TEO, accolades speak for himself, what he's done up recently over the past couple years. Yes, great. Bam, great. Boots, great, but unproven as a fighter. Virgil Ortiz the same way, yet in a way is in the good category when he should be not just above Shakur in the great conversation. You could argue as of today, he's already a GOAT, as he has a deeper resume than nearly everybody here, barring Terrence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather. And if we're going to go on accolades and in terms of the density of quality, you can argue he got a resume on par with Terrence Crawford today. And if he keeps on going like this, Crawford, that Floyd, the density of quality, especially if he goes and dominates in 126, shoot. Lord knows where that conversation can go. But that's good. On the same tier as Jake Paul, who after right after the performance that he had against Anthony Joshua. That's so stupid. It's so ridiculous. But mind you, again, Shakur, for better or for worse, in this case it's been worse, thinks differently about this sport. Thinks differently about the level of greatness something is or is not. This is the same buddy that said Sugar Ray Robinson was not all that, let alone garbage. It might have been his exact words. Ali wasn't as great. Reputation-wise, yeah. But legacy-wise, That's how Shakur thinks. It's a mentality that, by his own standards, he wouldn't fit the bill. It's a process that, by his own standards, he wouldn't even fit the bill. Come on, if it's good and you got less accolades than like the Inoue's only good. Abdul Mason became a champion younger than you. At a higher division, starting off. Which, if you want to hold that against him, I wouldn't. But some people do. Like, if it's a two-way street, buddy, you don't fit your own criteria of what it means to be good. Because you putting him in a category. It's terrible. It's horrible. But this is the way that Shakur feels about boxing. It's a shame, in my opinion, because it is recency bias isn't the right word, but it is. I feel like it's taking into account not the full picture of what somebody's body of work is. So it's like, it's a shame. It really is a shame. So yeah, it's crazy. It's ridiculous. Oscar is the scariest promoter I've seen in my life. Sorry. Okay, I was about to say scary. I don't know what's scary about Oscar De La Hoya, but sorry is he's starting to get that reputation. Let me see, Truth. How you doing? I just want the Truth. How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in to the show. What's good, Welch? I'd rather see Maul than Mel. Yeah, thank you. I would rather see Jamal versus Jamel in the standpoint of returning to the ring. And I was excited to see Jamel Charlo 3 years ago, and now it's just gone by the wayside. You wasted your opportunity to show us what you can do. Granted, we want to see you get better, whatever's going on outside the ring. Sure, take care of it. But at some point in time, from what I was hearing, it wasn't nearly as many issues and problems that we were seeing Jamal deal with. And Jamal still came back before you did. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. It makes no sense at all. Because you were still calling people out while your layoff was going on. What was the deal? It made no sense to me. And it looked like you were just getting lazy. But let me see, Shakur says some craziness every once in a while. I just chalk it up. I mean, yeah, sometimes, but also it gives you an insight into what his identity of boxing should be for the masses. His standard of greatness seems to be inconsistent to some degree. And I don't understand why when he's such a savant of a boxer. I don't get it. Let me just call one said Sugar Ray Robinson was trash. Yes, he did. Like I said, remember when I said everybody that plays the game doesn't know the game? From the standpoint of in-ring or from a legacy perspective of how to quantify certain things, how to explain certain things, this is what I'm talking about. This is not disrespect against Shakur Stevenson. I'm saying if you look at what we've seen with history, and you look at that and you say some of the greats are not that great when they are infallibly, undeniably greats, but you're putting them as they are not worth their weight in salt, you are showing your hand of what you view as quality and not. But that very quality is what we compare you to, because you're showing stuff like them. But you think they ain't all that. Something's missing. And it could be that identity of Floyd Mayweather. It could be. Floyd, same way. How can y'all say Ali's better than me? I'm undefeated. I beat the most champions. What was it, 24, 20, however many it is? Even though, anyways, getting ready to make as many defenses as people you've beaten in terms of Hall of Fame caliber and championship people. But we sounded the similar rhetoric with all the knowledge that he had was viewed differently in how Floyd thought about people from everybody else. Wasn't right in my estimation for a lot of what he was thinking, but it was his opinion. Why? Because it was steeped in the fact that I think I'm the standard. So if you think he's great, but you're putting him ahead of me, he ain't great at all compared to me. Because I'm what boxing has been building up to. That's his mind. Hence, that's how he feels about everybody else that came before him. Y'all are obsolete. With Shakur, he puts Boots, current confidant, or current peer, Virgil Ortiz, current peer, Floyd was a peer that he went through and worked with. Crawford, a peer that has been side by side with him nearly his entire career. Goats to great fighters. But then others like Inoue, they know that great. Jake Paul saying that he's good on the same tier as Inoue. Though he's a bum because of the relationship that they have with each other. It's skewed in a way that just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me at all. It doesn't make sense to me at all. Let me see. You already know I got TEO as an A- level, so he should win against Shakur Stevenson. And like I said, we still got a whole bunch of people having feelings about whether or not this fight will go either for TEO's favor or with Shakur outboxing, outclassing him. So we got people thinking, like when Ryan Graves said, hey, TEO's going to be able to take this fight and win it. Absolutely. Let me see. Daryl Anderson, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in to the show. Shakur is probably saying this because Crawford's not pound for pound number one, and in a way he is. Wait, hold on. Shakur's probably saying this because Crawford is not pound for pound number one, but in a way he is. Well, I mean, that's also because Crawford retired. And so, and he is a GOAT. But I don't think it's because of jealousy or sticking it to him because my guy was my guy. I really do think he doesn't think that Crawford is all, or he doesn't think that Inoue is in fact that good, which doesn't make sense. Genuinely, he feels that Sugar Ray Robinson wasn't great. Genuinely, he doesn't view Ali in the same breath as every other fan or peer in boxing inside of the ring. A couple of legends that he feels aren't as goated as they have been made to be, even though they are. This is not something new. That was somebody the caliber of Inoue doesn't get that type of respect, though they've got a resume that is legitimately able to stand against the test of time. Looking like he's about to have a career as dominant as Ricardo Lopez, who retired 51-1. Only blemish was a draw, but dominated his era. Looking like he's about to have a career like that. But he thinks because they're not, like I said, I really do think it's that threshold of weight that's holding him back from being able to see him as, okay, yeah, he's great. I really do. Let me see. He said Rolly trash, and he beat Ryan. So he said Ryan. See, exactly. It's inconsistency. It's inconsistency. Now I think Rolly and Ryan, he ain't got no beef with Ryan. Rolly's been saying that Shakur is born and all this stuff on par with Devin Haney. I don't care about watching you fight. So that may be why that's been going about, at least in my estimation. Shakur can't be great. He has the weakest resume out of everyone on this. Well, no. He's got a better resume than Rolly Romero from an accolade standpoint or in combination with names. Better resume than Abdullah Mason. Better resume than Jake Paul. Better resume than Ryan Garcia. Not a better resume than Inoue, absolutely. You can argue he's got a better resume than Virgil Ortiz, though Virgil may have a deeper name list. Championships have been the thing that we've been saying, Virgil, where they at? Boots, 33-0, 31 KOs, I believe, on his resume. Became two-time unified champion, looking to go and become undisputed at 154. Doesn't have as many, people have been saying that they want the names start now with Boots in it. So you can argue Shakur has a better resume than Boots. I think he does at this point in time. But it can quickly tighten up from the standpoint of the gap between the two with how Boots goes from this point on in his career. He ain't got a better resume than Bam Rodriguez. He ain't got a better resume than Teofimo Lopez. He doesn't have a better resume than Devin Haney. And, of course, Clarissa, Floyd, Crawford. No. But he ain't got the weakest. Doesn't have the weakest. But he is indeed not up at that by his own standards. When trying to put two and two together, he ain't up to his own part. Absolutely. Let me see. Jake should be in the garbage category. Yes, he should. Absolutely. No question about that, because that buddy is a bum in every shape of the word. Let me see. Nobody on that great tier can beat Boots, though. Let me see. Virgil Ortiz on that great tier right now is the biggest obstacle. Teofimo Lopez was ballooned up to 154 and fought against TEO or fought against Boots. Would be an incredibly intriguing matchup to deal with. It's a possibility. There ain't many on there that can beat him from the standpoint of raw talent, but it ain't like we ain't going to overlook Virgil Ortiz as just, they can't take it to him. You might be surprised come the time of the fight. Let me see. Salute Welch. Let me see. Watch you, Jay. Good to see you. How you doing? Thank you for tuning into the show. Salute to you. Shakur is boring. That simple. No, if he fights like he did against Zepeda, he's not a boring fighter. If he does fight like he fought against De Los Santos in Oratunian, where he willingly does not use all the tools in his tool belt, then yes, he becomes a boring fighter. But at his best is when he's taking chances from an entertainment perspective. But that's not what he is, so he's not going to do that consistently, almost assuredly. Teal could beat Boots if they fought against each other and he got to 154. That's a possibility. Could. I'm not saying he would, but he could. It would be an interesting possibility. Let me see. Teddy Berkshire, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in for the show. Let me see. Boys, you ready for Cruz? Y'all ready? I am ready to see how Cruz is going to fight going up against Raymond Murtala. We're going to talk about that more so on Thursday. We discussed that also earlier in the show on, thinking like the first half hour to hour in the show. We discussed that absolutely. Luke, what it do, how it be? I mean, I've been doing good. Like I said, I've been doing great. It's Thursday. We all having a good time. We're starting off the week off strong. It's sunny, but it's cold. But even still, we are all still in that wintry spirit of the season, and we're trying to keep warm. That's my biggest thing. I'm just trying to keep warm. Absolutely. But I appreciate you tuning in on the show. And please, keep on liking the stream. If you're here, share the show with everybody you can. We want to hear from you. We're in the championship rounds. We're in the last, 30 minutes of this show, so we want to hear what you all have to say in regards to everything that we got going on for boxing, basketball, football, anything in between. We want to hear from you all in regards to everything in your thoughts. So please keep on commenting. And shameless plug, if you want to support the channel monetarily, we got Cash App and PayPal. Links down below in the description, as well as super chats, gifts, and stickers, and all that stuff. If you can support the show, it would mean the world to me. Absolutely. I would so appreciate it. But with all that being said, we still got more to cover on the show. We still want to hear from you. Great defense with mid-level offense. I believe you're talking about the likes of Boots. I want to say this in reference to Boots, which again I think is deep, or rather, Shakur. Who is this in response to? Let me see who this is in response to. for this chat so I can give it its proper context. Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, Andre Ward stylistically are the worst things to happen to boxing. I wouldn't say they're the worst. We've seen others in that defensive style. We have. It's the issue, again, with that Floyd mentality is swimming not get wet without taking any chances. That's not the essence of what the sport of boxing is. At some point, you're going to have to, even Pernell Whitaker took chances. Nicolio Loche, even with his defensive savantism, was slipping shots at the skin of his teeth with danger and countering. That's why I was able to go 132-9 in his entire career. Yes, 130 plus and 9 wins, I believe, is his resume. Willie Pep, defensive acumen like no other. Yet it was done in a way that was entertaining. There was still risk involved. The Floyd Mayweather mentality, and even Floyd himself, would be taking risk when he was being defensive. He would look to counter. He would look to try to land stiff shots on you. It wasn't just shoulder roll and shut up. People didn't like it. But he could indeed go and dig deep. He did it with Shane Mosley. He did it with Mike Donald. He's done it multiple times this career. He did it when he was Pretty Boy. Though it wasn't as much, he did it even when he was in the Floyd Money Mayweather era of his career. Brittle hands and all. It's the fact that it's gotten taken to the extreme with a lot of boxers today, which we are getting out of. Thankfully, we are. Listen, Shakur, little money, he ain't understand. He ain't understanding of anything and may learn next week, even though I have him by surprising KO. You still have him at being able to KO TEO. I don't know how Shakur can KO TEO. I don't think Shakur, and he's a solid puncher. I think he's got some solid power. But I don't think he's a knockout savant. Because if he was, he wouldn't be able to do it against William Zepeda when he was actually letting leather go, landing the shots that I've said, okay, if he actually put his feet down and dug in, he could knock some folks out at 135 and beyond. He was landing the shots that I thought should be able to put somebody down if he was able to have that capacity, even to get somebody up the chin of William Zepeda, and he just couldn't do it. I don't think he's got that type of power, genuine. If I'm surprised like I was against Devin Haney, well, then so be it. But if he does KO Shakur, you doggone right, that would be incredibly shocking. Absolutely. Nobody ever says, let's fire up the barbecue for Shakur Stevenson fight. Yeah, I mean, they don't. But this is different. This is different. This is different. This fight is worth throwing something on the grill. With the undercard as well as the main card. This fight is worth putting something out and about, getting people involved. This fight has the makings to be the very pound for pound level type of clash that we've been saying we've been wanting to see for the longest time with people. This is great. And it's something that we've been begging for consistency in boxing of young stars facing off against each other that are high profile names, that are both proven and driven, that can open up the door for a trilogy because they're so young in the midst of their prime, and there's even room to get better. We want to see it. We love to see it. We're going to see it, which we never thought we would see. So, now I would hope for this fight, y'all get something together because it's going to be some fun. It's going to be some real fun. Absolutely. Let me see. Shakur has excellent resume. Again, it is a quality resume. I'm not diminishing it in the slightest. It's just in comparison to people that he said was good, like in a way. It doesn't make any sense. That's the thing I just don't understand. Everybody has a better result than Jake Paul. Yep, absolutely. Bald Wemby is a problem. Well, Bald Wemby got injured, but then he came back and dropped, I think, 30-10 with like 5 or 6 assists, I think a couple blocks as well, shooting about 39%, or excuse me, over 55% from the field. I believe his last game out against, was it the Raptors or was it against the Jazz? I can't remember. Either way, Bald Wemby, yeah. And Wembanyama, Victor Wembanyama in the NBA, boy, he is changing the culture of the Spurs. I'm excited for it. He's a dog. They got the second best record in the West right now. He's a dog, man. He is a dog. Oh, he's going to be so special. He's going to be so special. Let me see. It's funny, I love watching Shakur and Floyd, but I never liked Andre Ward, Soldier of God. Yeah, I'm about in the same boat. The only fight I've been able to palatably watch without you do a little bit more, was the Kovalev fight. Everybody thought that Kovalev should have won. That's the one where I was like, okay, we got to see the Andre Ward that I wish we saw over the course of his entire career. But yeah, it's a phenomenal mind. He's a phenomenal technician. The way that he fought in that style though was just ooh. It's still greatness, but my gosh, man. Entertainment factor not nearly as the same. I have Shakur by Al Booga. I have Shakur by a comfortable 8-4 type decision. I don't see a KO at all, but who knows? Like I said, it's boxing. Anything can happen. We didn't think Ken Bosos was going to be able to knock down Teofimo Lopez, let alone he did. Lo and behold, blew him out the water. Insane. So yeah, it can happen. It absolutely can happen. But if Shakur does win, it's probably going to be 8-4, 7-5. But if it's close, if it gets to a close affair, mark my words, if it's close by the 6th round, Shakur's going to be in trouble. If it is a 3-3 type of situation by the 5th round, 6th round, that's absolutely not where Shakur wants to be. That is absolutely not where Shakur wants to be. That will bode a sense of disaster and drama that will force Shakur into a fight that he does not want to fight in. I can promise you, what we saw him do against Zepeda, while it was an incredible performance, if he gets forced to do that against Shakur, because the fight is not going fully in his way, where he's able just to box, be clean, and dominate, it's going to be a bad day. As much as I know Shakur can counter him and all that stuff, absolutely, the better inside fighter, when it comes down to who can utilize better offense, is Teofimo Lopez. And you know what it is? Here's a quick side. I see you all else in the chat. I'm gonna try to read. Let me read the rest of you all's chats, and I'm gonna go through and tell you something I need to say about this Shakur Teo fight. Don't leave, please, because there's something important I need to say about that fight. Difference is Floyd looked high level while shelling up. Those other three look Andre Ward was actually pretty good at it for the show. I'm not gonna lie. And Shakur is good. It's just more so getting the distance rather than just the all-around compassing catching ability. But let me see. I ain't got a problem. I ain't gonna lie, I used to hate watching Andre Ward, even though I support him. Yeah, see, it's not an uncommon thing. How are you gonna say anyway is good, but he has more accolades than you? That's what I'm saying. I don't feel guilty now. I didn't realize Soldier of God was Ward. It's Andre Ward. That was SOG. Soldier of God was his alias, or like moniker, a nickname per se. And then Andre Ward, again, his actual name. And he went through and dominated, won the Super Series, was an incredible fighter, don't get me wrong. But stylistically, yeah, it was frustrating to see. Shakur is coming to put hands on TEO. I think we will see the best version of Kerr. It's going to have to be, because here's what we need to look at when we are understanding this fight with Shakur Stevenson versus TEO. We're looking at water versus a wall. That's what we're looking at. We're looking at water versus the wall. Teofimo has the ability to morph and do whatever needs to be done in this fight. He even said it himself as we've been loading up all the propaganda, getting excited for this fight. I'll do whatever I got to do to win. I don't know what you're going to bring to the table. I'm not even going to try to think about what you're going to be on fight night, of what you're going to try to, what style or game plan you are going to try to fight in. It's going to be simply, whatever you do, I'm going to adapt to it and do what I need to do to win. Formless like water, shapeless like water. The old Bruce Lee quote. When water gets poured into a vase, it becomes the vase. When water gets poured into a bowl, it becomes the bowl. It becomes whatever you need it to be. That's how your fist should be. That was the Bruce Lee mantra. One of the many mantras that he had. That was phenomenal. Shakur, by proxy or by comparison, is a wall. And by a wall, I mean he is defense, defense, defense. I got a wall I'm amazed to figure out. And it's hard for you to navigate what I can do and what I can be because of the fact that I'm so stonewalled with how to keep you at bay with what I want to do, which is be safe at all times. Some will compare it to the unstoppable force versus the immovable object. But the immovable object in this situation is figuring out Shakur's defensive acumen versus the formless nature of water in the style of fighting that is Teofimo Lopez. That's what we're dealing with to some degree. That is the battle. Outright fortress level defense versus an offense that is like water. That no matter how much you can try to stifle it, when he's at his best, you can't stop it. It will get through the cracks. It will get through the holes, no matter how small they are. It will find a way to morph into whatever mold it needs to seep through that armor. That's what Shakur is dealing with. And at some point in time, we may have to see Shakur fight water with water of his own. Because that's the ability of the offensive caliber that TEO has when he's at his best. And that's what Shakur has to deal with. And if the water does break, it's going to be an interesting dilemma to see how in the world he's going to fight it. If that wall and that fortress starts to crack and crumble, he's going to have to be on his A game. It's going to have to be the best version of Shakur we've ever seen. The type of confidence that we've seen with Shakur Stevenson over the past course of these couple weeks, we're going to have to see it. We're going to need it. He's going to need it. He's going to need to be that brash. He's going to need to be that much of a rushing wind on both ends of the offensive and defensive spectrum. Because he's dealing with somebody that he may be talking quiet now, but it's because, buddy, I've been where you're trying to get to before. To a degree, Teofimo Lopez is at the same position that Lomachenko was when Lomachenko fought Teo. And this time, Shakur is Teofimo Lopez in this situation. Not because we're saying that Teo is outright the best in the world, but this was the biggest step up on a pound-for-pound level stage, which Teo, I believe by the Ring Magazine, is pound-for-pound level. That if you want to take over like I wanted to take over, I had to get through that obstacle. Now you got to do that against me. You've never done it before against this type of litmus test, but I have. Now it's my turn to see if I can stand my ground in a way that Lomachenko wasn't. Because I've been exactly where you were. I knew what it took to get over that hump of pound for pound greatness at facing off in front of me. Now it's your turn to try to do what I did. The difference is now TEO's on the spectrum where I got to understand how to defend my ground. And what did Lomachenko not do that cost him, whether mentally or physically, that I cannot afford to do? With this guy trying to take my spot and do what I did to my previous predecessor. That's what he's dealing with. That's what he's trying to go for. That's the fight within the fight. That's the game within the game. That is the ruckus level of necessity. That's the ruckus level of confidence, bravado, instinct, and intrigue, as well as just out-round mental fortitude. That's what this whole fight's coming into. That's what it's coming to. Let me make sure stuff ain't. Trying to make sure stuff ain't playing, so we ain't got no background noise. But that's what this fight's kind of coming down to. Let me keep on reading what you all had to say real quick as we're getting ready to wrap it up at 2 hours, 30 minutes. We're going to wrap the show up and send it home and get ready for Thursday. Absolutely. If TEO gets Shakur on the ropes like Zepeda, it's going to get nasty. That's my thing. And TEO can keep him on the ropes in a better fashion than William Zepeda. If it gets to a point where TEO, okay, he's comfortable moving forward like he did against Barboza, confident, has adapted to the speed and the rhythm of Shakur, and now it's walking him back without having to throw a punch. And it's punching where Shakur tries to escape to. Next thing you know, Shakur's going to shell up and now see if I can pick him apart. That's what's going to happen. That's what we can see happen. And so it's going to be it's going to be good. It's going to be so good. Let me see. Also, you love TEO's 50-50s when he's trying to trade. Yes, that's a dangerous sentiment. You know, 50-50 exchanges. TEO's one of the best in the game. We don't talk about it much, but when it comes to trades against each other, punch for punch, TEO's one of the best in the game. Just go back and look at that Barboza fight. Look at what he was doing in the midst of reacting to what Barboza was trying to throw. And a lot of 50-50 exchanges that came quick. He was sublime. He was absolutely sublime. The thing about TEO is that he's the best as a counterpuncher. Not much of a come get you kind of fighter. Well, see, here's the thing. You can turn somebody into your game plan. He puts pressure on Shakur similarly to what we saw with William Zepeda. TEO can force Shakur, just like with Zepeda, to have to punch back. Punch and just bait something out. He's not worried about the power sweep. He takes some hits, okay, fine. But he'll bait something out and land better shots in return when he gets the punch that he's looking for in response from Shakur. And then boom, lands to the heart. And now those overt damaging shots get the judges in his favor, get Shakur to feel like I'm being very much under pressure. And if it goes too far along, Shakur's going to have to throw for real. Because now Shakur trying to counter as well isn't working. Shakur scoring isn't working. Shakur just throwing and landing pot shots to outpoint his opponent isn't working. You could argue if TEO keeps the pace that Zepeda kept with his league's better offensive output and offensive precision, he can force Shakur into a firefight even if Shakur doesn't want to. Because Shakur won't be able to counter at the same slick and effective way without anything coming back that will match that countering ability, if not take advantage of it. That's what he's dealing with, somebody that, if he fights, again, like water, I can do what you do, but better. I can do what your opponents have done, but better. and exploit what they couldn't exploit because they weren't as good as you, or as me, rather. That's what we can see. Absolutely. Let's see. It's a style thing, in my opinion. It is. It's going to be. What style will each bring to the table? That's what we just don't know. We can infer, specifically on Shakur's end, but we don't know. That's the thing. TEO can counter coming forward better than Shakur. TEO can counter coming forward better than Shakur. Better than Shakur can, excuse me. I know that, but TEO can be better counterpunching coming forward than Shakur counterpunching going backwards. Okay. So Shakur looking to counter you on the back foot is not as great of a skill set as TEO trying to counter you on the front foot with you walking him down, or with him walking you down. I can see it. I can see that as a viable possibility. I can't see that as a viable possibility. And if that just comes to fruition, then that can be a dangerous sentiment for Shakur Stevenson. It can't. Because the biggest thing about Shakur, he's an accurate puncher. What if that accuracy gets taken away?
Hey, look at this. Look at the problems here.
What if the accuracy gets taken away? What if the accuracy of Shakur Stevenson gets taken away? He's not landing at the same precision rate. He's getting out-punched, and now he's not being able to have these same punches landed, still be so far away as a gap ahead of everybody else. What if he's not able to have his control be in control? That's a very interesting question. The accuracy takes a dip, a nosedive, to the point that now you punching on par with TEO from a landing standpoint. That can be bad. Because all it's going to take is for TEO just to up his output. And you might be up a creek. You could be hypertechnical. You could be up a creek. But again, last couple chats, like I said, last call. That's 2 hours and 30 minutes. Last call. Last call. What you want to say on the show? Real quick, gonna read these last couple chats, and then we're gonna get on out of here. Like I said, please keep on liking the show, keep on sharing the stream. Last call on the championship rounds, topics of discussion on whatever you all still want to say. And please, if you can support the channel, Cash App, PayPal, links down below, as well as super gifts, super chats, and all that stuff, whatnot, helps to support the channel. Absolutely. But just you being here and sharing the show helps us out immensely. But let me keep on reading these last couple chats in the show before we go on and end the show and get on out of here. Another thing is TEO is quicker than Shakur Stevenson. I do believe that. I do believe that. I do believe that. I do believe that. I think Shakur is quicker than TEO. He's got better physical ability and movement and acceleration, quickness. He's got that. The physical attributes are something that, again, are akin to the likes of Boots Ennis. Not to the same degree, but they're there. That's going to be something that TEO hasn't faced before outside of De Los Santos, but in this type of capacity. Whole new ballgame. It can be a very interesting thing to look at as to where this fight can go. And what can turn the tides of this affair. Let me see, if Shakur wastes energy, that's bad for him. Plus TEO's, or if Shakur wastes energy, that's bad for him too. Plus Shakur is always hesitant to counter against big punches. He is more adept to jump out the way rather than going and trying to sit in the pocket and land the shots that he needs to land. Zepeda is not a big puncher. Voluminous, but not big. Big punchers, they're always dangerous. And what we know about Shakur when somebody's always dangerous, they do not give you any reason to take a risk, even when the risk is there. 100% safety is the only way you're going to operate in your offensive game with how you want to fight. That's how Shakur thinks to a big degree. Don't let Zepeda fool you, even though that can be a fight that if what might be the best course of action to help beat TEO. Won't do it. He won't do it. If he does, I'll be shocked, but I don't think he will. So if he can't pull the trigger, and TEO sees that he can't pull the trigger, that pressure becomes all the more easy to apply. And against TEO, you give an opening where you're scared to counter. I got you. It's going to be a very dangerous sentiment. No question about it. If that does indeed fall on the mind of Shakur, that it's too dangerous to pull the trigger right now. Instead of committing to try to score like he needs to score. It can be bad. It can be very bad. But we will talk about this later on in the show or on Thursday. Like I said, we're going to keep on having more of this conversation throughout the week. Absolutely. I hope Shakur check lead hooks him all night, or it gets bad. That's gonna be one of the best weapons, the check hook of Shakur, as it worked with Sandro Martinez, even worked with the likes of Ortiz, especially at southpaw. It can work. If he doesn't use it though, or even worse, if TEO has now been able to adapt to it, when he wasn't able to adapt to it when he fought against Ortiz and Martin, then it can be a dangerous night. Oh, it can be a dangerous night. But we got to get out of here because we got to get ready for Thursday afternoon. And we want to make sure that we let you all be able to rest and recoup and enjoy the rest of your day so that you can be fresh and ready on Wednesday. And so it's been a phenomenal show. I'm so glad you all were able to tune in. And with all of that being said, this has been another episode of The Watchman with me, your host, Jean-Luc West. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for listening on this show. There was some other stuff we wanted to cover, but we going to, again, trying a new format. We're going to use some of that content and go in on Thursday and talk about it as well. But hey, thank you all for showing up and showing out on this show. Thank you to everybody who came in and chatted on stream. All of you all were great and phenomenal. It's been an incredible show. We're going to be back on Thursday to cover the world of boxing and beyond. Absolutely, we're going to have a little more topics with the NBA that we're going to try to go and implement as well as with the NFL off the backs of the Texans and the Chicago Bears losing. I got all my picks wrong over the weekend. My goodness, we're going to talk about that as well on Thursday. But look, I've been Jean-Luc West. Y'all have been wonderful. Rate us 5 stars on every podcasting platform imaginable. Leave a like on the stream before you get on out of here. Be sure to comment your thoughts and opinions on what you liked or didn't like about the show. Also, be sure to come through and and leave a comment on the video. Subscribe to the channel. Come on and join the empire. And please be sure to keep on hitting the notification bell, so you know whenever we post right here on YouTube and on every podcasting platform imaginable. And hey, going back on Thursday, more topics, more fun, more boxing, more sports, all for your viewing and listening pleasure. I've been Jean-Luc Welch. Y'all have been incredible. We can't wait to see you all on Thursday afternoon. Be safe, be blessed, peace, and love. Oh, we are out of here. Yes, sir. We're going to see you on Thursday. Have a great Tuesday afternoon. Thank you all for tuning in. The top chatters for this show. Number 5, Dale Anderson. Number 4, I Need a Burr. Number 3, Teddy Burkshot. Number 2, Y2J. Bubba's Y2J. And number 1, Ryan Graves takes reigns as the number 1 pound-for-pound chatter for this episode. Can you retain it? Come Thursday, we're going to find out. But hey, I've been John Welch. Y'all been wonderful. Peace and love. We out of here. Be safe. Be blessed. We gone.